Welcome back. Today I've got some raw sauerkraut. You often buy it cooked here in France in little boxes, but this is raw. It's been fermented, but it's still raw. And this is just a really quick recipe that you can do in about 40 minutes, including all the cooking time. And it's about 5 minutes to get it into a pot. I'm using this one. It's a cast iron pot, which I always think is rather nice for these dishes. The sauerkraut needs to be softened, and that will take about half an hour in there. And I picked up a selection of Frankfurters, Strasbourg, and this one here because it looked interesting. A Montfort, something like that it was called, or a Monto, I can't even remember. But I don't think it makes much difference. You need some smoked sausages, and these are lardons. I've only got 100 grams, but I don't have vast amounts of this. Now this, I soaked it overnight in a big bowl of water, and I changed it once before I went to bed. So it's had about 14 hours of soaking, and I've squeezed it dry because I don't want all that salt in the food. I'm going to use a bit of olive oil, not a lot. Turn the heat on, and I'm going to cook my lardons. I'm going to add my spice. I've got here some allspice. It seems most people, whenever they go anywhere near sauerkraut, are inclined to use cloves, but I find them, well, I just think they need more longer, gentle cooking to disperse it. It's quite a brutal flavour. I'm just using 4 of those, I think. I've got some mustard seed, which is quite nice to add. Sort of a teaspoon of that. And some black pepper. There, that wasn't difficult, was it? I'm adding some white wine because we're in France, so we cook in wine. Some of the dishes that I looked up, they used not olive oil, but we prefer olive oil. They used lard, they used all sorts of fats. A lot of people were using butter, but this is just a very simple, quick version that you can have gently cooking within about 8 minutes. Now, those are cooking nicely and sweating. I'm just going to put my onions on the top, and I did use a nice big onion. You saw me chopping it up. I think onions and sausages are a perfect combination, a made in heaven combination. Now I'm just going to stir these a bit. This is still lukewarm on the top. Slowly the heat will come all the way through, and when I put the lid on, it makes a little mini oven. So it takes a while to penetrate evenly the heat. Now these, I want to make certain they're all individual. If there were more of you, there's only 2 of us, and we'll have this a couple of meals, I should think. But if there were more of you, you just buy more of this. It wasn't expensive. It was about €1. You can also get it in jars. Now the reason I'm chopping it a bit is to allow some of the flavour of that to go into the whole thing and permeate it. Today it's got a little bit of sunshine, and it's so nice to see the sun back. When I bought this, it was pouring with rain, and I I felt we needed something that was a little bit comforty. So I shall be making it now, storing it on the cooker top and reheating it for this evening, because it is one of those meals that actually improves if you reheat it. Perfect for people coming in from work, or if you've got guests, friends coming. Now, some people like to brown this, but I'm not really in the business of doing that, really. I'm going to add the sauerkraut. I need 2 spoons. Now I'm going to start, leave it for a couple of minutes with the lid on. Then I'm going to add the sausages, and I'm going to add the wine. And then I'm just going to leave it for half an hour to gently bubble. Gently bubble. And I'm going to turn it off, and then we're eating it tonight. We'll have it with some potatoes, I think, maybe baked potatoes or some boiled potatoes. But I think potatoes would accompany it very nicely. You could just have it with bread if you were feeling not like cooking at all and just reheating the dish. But that was pretty straightforward and very, very, very quick. So the shape of this knob is very clever. It's designed to keep cool, and if this gets very hot, you can add a little bit of water to it, and it would just evaporate and cool it down for you. I've never known the knob to get hot, but I've known not being able to touch the handles. And of course, these lovely things go straight in the oven. Yeah. So I'm going to give it a twist. Give it a toss. Oh yes, it's beginning to smell good now, isn't it? And now you can see a little bit of colour coming into it. That caramelising definitely gives it a wonderful flavour. Another toss. Now I'm going to use the wine. One of the joys of living in France is the wine. I think this was under €1, wasn't it? 1.20. Right. Now I'm going to take my sausages. I'll have that one. Oh, it was the cork.
That's why I moved it out of the way.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
You don't want to keep that one.
No, I don't want to cook that one. Oh dear. Right, I think it needs a little bit raw, and then we'll just leave it to sit there and do its own thing. Oops, this cork is definitely on the move.
You turned it under the pan.
Right. Now I'm going to change the light because this, yes, it's getting hot now. It's getting very hot. This is a big ring. This is a little ring. So I shall turn it right down and I shall pop it on there. Now I have to line it up so there's no sort of gaps. Because I'll just explain, you are able to have it like that and you'll lose all your liquids. So you need to line it up nicely. And then you can walk away and do something else while it... Right, that's lovely. We'll leave it there and come back in half an hour. Right, well, it's been the 30 minutes and the whole house smells pretty good now. And there you are. We're going to just give it a nice toss again. And you can see it's pretty good, isn't it, Paul? And there it is, exactly what you would expect. That must be the easiest, simplest, quickest sauerkraut you could have made. And I have noted that if you buy the sauerkraut cooked, then I don't know what they've put in it, but it has a aftertaste in the mouth. Whereas if you cook it like this, it tastes like fermented cabbage. It's got a nicer flavour. Now, if you want to enrich it, you add some blobs of butter before you serve it. So as you reheat it, you'll do that. Or you could serve it like this and eat it like this for lunch. Whatever Paul wants to do. But it's a very quick, easy to prepare meal. And you can pretty much keep a jar of sauerkraut in your pantry and you would not notice the space it took up. You just pick up some sausages and pretty much any smoked sausage would do. The lardons are not difficult to find and you can choose your own favourite spices. Caraway and an anise flavour seems to be very, very popular, but I think this is a nicer combination for us. Other people even put ginger in it. Garlic, not so much. The sausages have all of that anyway. So there you are. Ouch, ouch. He's so naughty where sausages are concerned. Well, what we've decided to do is to give Paul a little taste. This is for pasta, but it really works really well for this. It's such an easy thing to serve then. And which sort of sausage? Do you like a little piece of everything, Paul? And this little smoky one here, just so as he can have a little taste. And I'm just going to put a little bit of juice on the top. And this was all the lovely wine and sausage flavour. I think that bottle of wine was cheaper than buying a bottle of juice, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, this is one of the advantages of living here. Other costs can be much more expensive. But there you go. So that's pretty good, you know. I wish you could smell it because it has this, well, it's a really German sausage smell. It's a really comforting smell. The sun shines outside, but even so, it's such a nice smell, isn't it? I think that's rather nice. It's a very nice flavour, isn't it? Well, I think I'll definitely have this again. I think the wine really makes it nice. It's really good. Enjoy.